Hello everyone! Welcome to this video on a short history of European integration. I will briefly discuss the European Union's origins, its evolution throughout the 20th century, and some of the challenges the EU faces today. But let's first have a look at some of the most important events of EU history. After the enormous losses and devastations of the Second World War, European states wanted to avoid that a new war could break out on the European continent. For this reason, they established the European Community for Coal and Steel to pool the production of coal and steel, which was crucial for war activities at the time. After failed attempts to establish a European defense community and a European political community, in 1957 the Treaties of Rome were signed and established the European Economic Community and the European Atomic Energy Community. This led to years of economic growth in the 6 founding member states. To foster this process, they decided in 1968 to remove customs duties to allow for free cross-border trade. In 1970, the original 6 member states were joined by 3 additional European countries. In the 1980s, economic cooperation was further expanded. The Single European Act established a single market, without internal borders or regulatory obstacles to the free movement of goods and services. Shortly afterwards, the Berlin Wall fell, leading to the reunification of East and West Germany and of Europe. In 1992, the single market was complemented by the 4 freedoms: free movement of goods, services, people, and capital. To simplify the free movement of persons, the Schengen zone was established. In the early 2000s, the EU welcomed a large number of new member states, mostly from Central and Eastern Europe. After the economic crisis of 2008, the EU entered a challenging decade. The euro crisis, the global economic crisis, terrorist attacks throughout Europe, the migration crisis, and rapidly increasing climate change are only some examples. Populism and anti-EU sentiments rose in many member states. This raises questions about what future we want for Europe. The COVID-19 pandemic confronts the EU with major challenges of economic recovery. While at the same time, the European Commission proposed a European Green Deal, which aims to change our economic model. There are many challenges and open questions, which we will discuss throughout this course. But let's first go through some historical events in more detail. The raison d'être of the European Union can be found in the destructive world wars of the 20th century. Through international cooperation, leaders wanted to prevent new wars and destruction. French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman presented a first concrete plan for deeper cooperation between France and Germany. The aim of this cooperation was to make war not only unthinkable, but materially impossible. According to him, this could be ensured by pooling coal and steel production of both countries. Coal and steel were 2 essential commodities for war at the time. In 1951, the European Community for Coal and Steel was born. It had 6 founding members: Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. This economic cooperation was deemed successful, so that the member states decided to expand their cooperation to other areas than coal and steel. The Treaties of Rome established in 1957 the European Economic Community, a common market where people, services, and goods can freely cross borders. And they established the European Atomic Energy Community. In 1968, the European Economic Community member states decided to strengthen the common market by removing all customs duties, allowing for free trade among all member states. They also applied a common import duty on all goods from outside the EEC. Through this, the European Customs Union was born. In 1970, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Denmark joined the EEC. In 1979, the European Economic Community took an important step towards the democratization of the community. The first direct elections of the European Parliament were held. Since then, European citizens can directly elect their members of European Parliament. The 1980s are characterized by the further strengthening of European cooperation. In 1981, Greece joined the EEC, followed by Spain and Portugal in 1986. In the same year, the Single European Act was signed and entered into force. This treaty aimed to further remove barriers in the internal market and to increase harmonization and competitiveness among the member states. The Single European Act also made some constitutional adjustments to the EEC in order to facilitate decision-making among the 12 member states. Qualified majority voting was extended to facilitate the adoption of laws pertaining to the single market. In 1992, the Maastricht Treaty was signed and entered into force in 1993. It built on the aspirations of the Single European Act. The 4 freedoms were now a complete reality. Goods, people, services, and capital can circulate freely. To match the stronger cooperation among the member states, the name of the EEC was changed into its current name, the European Union. In 1995, the freedom of people to move freely was complemented by the Schengen zone. In this zone, people can cross borders without being subject to passport controls. In 2002, monetary cooperation among the member states was strengthened through the introduction of the euro in 12 of the member states. This common currency, as well as the single market, attracted new member states. In 2004, no fewer than 10 new member states were welcomed into the EU, most of them from Central and Eastern Europe. Seizing this momentum, a treaty establishing a constitution for Europe with a common flag, anthem, and constitutional reforms was proposed. But it was rejected in national referenda in the Netherlands and France. Bulgaria and Romania joined the Union in 2007. 2007 is also the year in which the Lisbon Treaty was signed, which entered then into force in December 2009. This treaty recycled most of the reforms that were included in the European Constitution, but without much of the symbolism. The co-decision procedure was renamed into ordinary legislative procedure and expanded so that it became the standard decision-making procedure for most EU laws. The European Parliament and the Council of the European Union are co-legislators in this procedure. In addition, the European Council, which consists of the heads of state and government, became an official EU institution. In the aftermath of the 2008 economic crisis and the euro crisis, economic and financial cooperation among the member states was strengthened. Interdependence among the member states' economies required common responses. In 2012, the banking union was established in response to the sovereign debt crisis. In 2013, Croatia joined the union. On the 1st of February 2020, the United Kingdom officially left the Union. Brexit reversed the trend of an ever-growing European Union. But the EU is faced not only with Brexit, but also with a number of other challenges. Recovering from the severe damage caused by the COVID-19 crisis poses a major challenge that the EU and its member states need to tackle, while not losing sight of social, environmental and geopolitical goals. At the same time, the European Green Deal actually proposes a new economic model for Europe. Due to the expansion of EU membership and of EU competences, it has become difficult to coordinate among the 27 member states. Inequalities among EU member states are growing, which leads to frictions. At the same time, we see that citizens' trust in the EU and perceptions of legitimacy are declining, while Euroscepticism is rising. In addition, crises such as Russia's annexation of Crimea and unrest in Belarus lead to an unstable EU neighborhood. Internationally, the EU's global power is declining. European integration was born out of the traumatizing experiences of 2 world wars. Through economic integration and cooperation, leaders sought to prevent such horrible fighting among European countries. The EU started as a peace project, but over time its membership and competences were expanded. The EU brought prosperity to many Europeans. The European Union has always evolved and changed, and it will continue to do so in light of the many challenges that it currently faces.